Hey, Ken.
Hey, how you doing?
Sorry, I was muted.
Took a lot of copper, destroyed the cables, stuff on the repeater from the So they're using a backup, they're using 140.
Somebody else. And
110 Liberty. Backup.
So it's kind of like radio communications, like you're transmitting from here to your open spot, which that little antenna. But basically, you're using the internet. The internet is what I call the fake ionosphere. It takes the place of it. And it's much more predictable because we have different
I'm good.
channels.
Good. How's your CW doing? Made any contact?
No, but I am so close. I almost jumped in the other night, but I'm close. I'm right on the cusp.
You know, we went camping for 3 weeks, and the Ocapa CW guys invited me to do field day with them.
And then they didn't.
And, well,
Did they?
they did.
They did?
Kappa didn't, but the CW guys did. They just did it at one of the guys' houses. And they invited me to come out, and I did not even hear a dit or a da for 3 weeks while we were on the road.
Oh, no.
Literally, you know, I was almost radio silent for 3 weeks. And I just did not feel coming back right off that.
I'm starting to, I'm catching, I just keep catching more, but I get behind real easy still. Maybe it's.
Hello, Mike.
Hey, good evening.
Let me turn my video on here. There we go.
Is it just you and I?
I think so. Just the important ones showed up.
Yeah. That's using that term a little loosely over here. I'm in a hotel room.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Let me turn the weather map off here. I heard some lightning, so I pulled up the Channel 9 weather map. It looks like it's south of me, so I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down in San Antonio for
You
work
are?
for a couple of days. Yeah.
That's pretty cool to be able to join the meeting from down there, isn't it?
It is. It is. Yeah, I was running. Oh my goodness. I've been jumping through hoops for hotels. The first one I checked into, it was so nasty. And I checked out. Then I came back to this one and I have a corporate card from work that I pay for it.
Yeah.
And they kept rejecting the card. So I had to call the office and then they had to jump through hoops. And I always unpack. When I get to the hotel, I unpack everything. And then I noticed the room was getting warmer and warmer and the AC went out in the room, so they had to move me.
Wow.
Hopefully I'm in the room for the next couple of days. So it's been a mess. But so what are they doing at the meeting tonight? You know?
I don't have a clue as to what they're up to. So did you ever get on Discord?
Yeah. It's actually.
Yeah, I thought I seen you on there the other day.
Yeah, I was on there the other day and I just pulled it up before I logged in here, but I didn't really look at it.
Yeah. Well, you seen my 432 antennas though, didn't you?
I did. I
You
sure did.
commented on that. Yeah. You said you'd like to have that for the homeowners association to look at.
Yeah.
Well, that's a low to the ground antenna. You could do that.
Yeah.
Well, satellite's a lot easier, so you ought to try to do some satellite stuff. I was amazed at how well that RS-44 Russian satellite works.
So what kind of hoops would I have to jump through to track that and make contact with it?
Well, I'm just tracking by hand, but you don't really have to track it. A lot of people use those M-squared. They'll have some loops, a 2 and 440 or 435 megahertz loop antenna. So there's no pointing of that loop antenna. It's like a halo antenna, and
Okay.
which is omnidirectional, so you don't have to point it. Of course, it doesn't work as good as a Yagi, but it works pretty darn good. A lot of guys use them. And then you need a transceiver that will, an all mode transceiver. This bird that I listen to, a Russian one, it's single sideband. It's 2 meters up and 70 centimeters down. I don't remember what the up frequency is on 144 something, and the downlink is what I listen to. It's on 435.60, about 620 for the sideband, but it's 50 or something so kilohertz wide, and several sideband stations at once are on it. And then at the low end is the beacon. And then people do CW down at the low end too. I constantly hear a VE5 station on CW. He is really loud, but most of it is single sideband. But, like I said, I heard Cuba and Alaska worked about 10 stations the other day.
Yeah.
While the bird while I could receive the satellite, he worked about 10 stations from Anchorage.
If I understand that correctly, and I've just kind of haphazardly, have looked into it, it's when it breaks that horizon is when you can have contact with it until it drops back down to the other side, right?
Yeah, that's right. It needs to get up 5 or so degrees from the horizon before you can hear it depending on your antenna. With those halos, it probably has to be at 10 or 12 degrees before you can start hearing it.
Okay.
But with my moon bounce antenna pointed at the horizon, I hear it when it's immediately when it comes above the horizon.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of gain pointed right at it. But if
you
I don't
just-
even point the antenna, if it's coming to the east of me, I just point my antenna east, and I'll do a pretty good job without even having to change it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll just point it east and up at a little bit of an angle,
Uh-huh.
depending on the angle that the bird is coming in. And the program tells you that. Tells you the direction, and you see a map, that Orbitron program. Did you
Okay.
ever download that Orbitron?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna have-
you can at least look at that. And do you have a transceiver that will do 2 meters and 70 centimeters?
No, I don't.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
what you
other
need.
than that.
Whenever I first got into the satellites years ago, I had a Kenwood TS2000. That thing is made for satellites. It really worked good, but there's a number of them nowadays that'll do
Yeah.
it. And
So, how high up is that antenna that you use?
it's on the ground. It's that moon
Oh,
bounce
that's
antenna.
the one that's on the ground.
Yeah.
Wow. How about
And
that?
I have the other one. The first one that I built was a 10 element. Before I had any material to build this other one, I had some copper, I guess it's brass welding rod. It's small diameter, maybe 1/8 inch or maybe even 1/16 inch diameter. And I had a piece of hollow brass tubing that I bought years ago for ground rods from Lowe's. They were $3 or $4 a piece then. Now they want $20 for one of them. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I think it's a 1 inch diameter or 1 inch diameter brass tube, hollow tube. So I just drilled holes in it and soft soldered the elements to it.
Yeah.
And that's one that I was using, and it's up about 45 feet. And I just point it to the east, and it works really good. Also with it, I can copy the beacon in eastern Oklahoma. There's a beacon on 432.272, and it's a UHF beacon, and he sends V's and then his call sign, and then he gives us grid square, and then he starts over. So I can copy him pretty good with that one.
So you're not, and forgive my ignorance, but you're not talking just simple 2 meter and 70 centimeter. You're talking a different type of transceiver, right?
No, not a FM. It's an all band transceiver. One
Okay.
that'll not a FM handy talkies are all FM.
Okay.
So, but there is satellites that are FM satellites, but they're only one conversation at a time.
Okay.
In other words, you and whoever you're talking to is all that's on there at a time. And those satellites are pretty hard to get into because one person at a time is all that can do it. So by the time it passes over, you're kind of lucky if you're able to get in and use it. But not true with these others. They're called linear transponders, the ones that do sideband and CW.
Okay. And I know it's a silly question. What kind of money are we looking at just to try to get into one of those?
Well, you just need a transceiver that goes up to 70 centimeters. I think some of those that, the one that Mike recently bought, and I think Mark Clayton, I think that's what he's got. I don't remember the number on it. I think it's a Yaesu something 99 or something. I forgot what it was, but it's a HF, covers 160 through 440 centimeters, all mode, and I think they're around $1,100, something like that.
Okay.
But they cover all modes, and that would work. Don't know what that was.
I don't either. Hey, I got a question. You may or may not know, I know when I was leaving town this morning, the 060 repeater was having issues. Do you know if they got that worked out or?
No, I don't hardly ever get on repeaters.
Okay. Yeah, it acted like somebody was keyed up just nonstop for hours and hours and hours. It'd time out and it is making all kinds of real. So.
It might have had a sense problem and something was keeping it keyed all the time.
Yeah. Well, I know they had some storms roll through yesterday evening, so I think, maybe that had something to do with it too.
Yeah.
But looks like they got a pretty good crew over there this evening.
Yeah, I'd like to go, but I have trouble seeing at nighttime, and by the time that thing's over with, it's dark, and I have trouble seeing driving.
Yeah.
So I have to trying to get my daughter-in-law to take me. She's a ham, and she's been there with me at the regular ham meetings, but I've never got to go to one of the Elmer meetings. But that looks like it'd be the best because you could sit down and talk to each other.
Yeah, when I'm in town, I try to go. Except what was it, last week? I was just tired and didn't want to get out. But Ken, I've been a ham, if you want to say that. I have been a ham for nearly 20 years. When I passed my technician and my general years ago, I just studied the book and answered the questions, and didn't join any clubs, didn't build anything, didn't do anything, just talked on the radio occasionally. And in all honesty, I didn't. And so, I got back into it in February, and I feel like a green pea because I feel like I don't really know anything. But
well, everybody helps everybody, so it's not a big deal. And I like to help people, and and
well, that's what I was going to say. Is I've gone up there in person, and oh my gosh, the help is just tremendous. They're patient.
Yeah.
They don't make you feel stupid or anything like that. And I'm having a good time this go around, enjoying it.
Yeah. Well,
and
the hobby is about having fun. It's not who knows the most or who can buy the most.
Yeah.
You do what
and I'll
you
tell
can
you, I'll listen to you guys on the Zoom meeting sometimes, and I'll be honest, a lot of times it's like listening to Greek to me, but I figure I'm going to pick something up out of it, little tidbits here and there, and over time, I figure I've got a lifetime to learn, however long that is. So, and that's kind of why I got back into ham radio. Is I turned 60 this year. So, I know that's not old, but
man, you're getting old.
But I started thinking. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I started thinking, I wanted something to do as I got older.
Sure.
And I thought, you know what? These guys that I know that are hams, they are sharp as a tack, and I figured that'd just keep me occupied and keep my mind sharp. So
there's a lot of different directions you can go in ham radio. So there's a lot of different things you can do. You just pick one that you like and go for it. And some people like to chase DX. I've done that before. Some people like to get certificates and all that. I've had all them kind of stuff I need. And I used to do a lot of QSL cards, and I got tired of paying the postage to send a card to Europe, and then people want you to put $2 in the envelope. That crap was getting old quick. And when the Logbook of the World came along, I jumped on it, man. Hello,
Yeah,
Phil.
yeah.
Hello, Phil.
So,
So you just
Hey,
have
good
to
evening.
find what you like and go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
still
since I-
working? You're still working. Who do you work for?
I work for a company called Federal Protection. We are not federal government. The guy that started the company back in 1969 was a United States congressman, so he just used that name. And we're based out of Springfield, Missouri. But the company itself does a lot of different things. They do access control, CCTV, fire alarms, burglar alarms, bank equipment, the pneumatic tubes, ATM machines, vaults, locks.
They do a lot.
Then they do. And then they also have a construction company that actually builds banks. I'm on the service side. I'm the service manager for Oklahoma and Texas. And so we just fix the broken stuff. That's our job. But I've been with them almost 14 years now.
Yeah. Well, I worked for a company for almost 27 years called Seagate Technology. Whenever I retired.
Oh, yeah.
Seagate is a hard disk drive manufacturing company. And
I remember.
I worked in the engineering department over there on Morgan Road in Reno.
Yeah.
And I live out here by Shawnee Lake. And I drove that for 26, almost 27 years. And I was 60 years old whenever I retired. And they came in and asked, we had an off-site meeting for everybody that was 60 and over. And they offered us a buyout retirement. And they said they was going to give us 2 weeks to make up our mind. And I said, I only need 1 minute. Give me the money. I'm out of here. So I retired at 60 and I'm 82 now. So I've been enjoying ham radio for a long time.
Well, and you're exactly what I was talking about. I mean, here you are, 82 years old, just as sharp as can be.
I don't know about that.
Well, you seem sharp to me. So how you doing, Mr. Phil?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Busy day today.
I'm sorry?
A busy day today.
Well, you got it done now.
I got it done now. Sent in my end of day report, put in my time and attendance, sent out 3 emails, and I said, goodbye, log off, log me off. I spent the first 3 hours of the day messing around with the IT people trying to get the microphone fixed on their stupid computer.
Need faster IT people, don't we?
Yeah, we need faster IT people. We need
Galen. Hey, Galen, you're still muted. Galen, you're still muted.
You don't show to be muted, but yeah, you do.
Okay, now you're not muted, but
You're not getting any audio out though.
still can't hear you. Gonna have to plug that microphone in.
That's the shape I was in this morning. Ended up fixing my own stupid computer.
I'm surprised that my cheap camera with the microphone built in it, USB, works as good as it does.
Yeah. USB is amazing.
Yeah.
You just plug it in and it works.
Can you hear me now?
Gotcha.
There he is.
Yeah, not real loud, but we can hear you.
So I was going to pop off that maybe it was a busy day for Phil because he got 2 naps in instead of 1.
Yeah,
He must have. He's pretty alert.
that was one of the problems with today. Come to think of it, I didn't get not even one stinking nap in.
Well, I didn't miss my nap, Phil.
Of course, the big hot trendy thing is either Microsoft Teams or Zoom. So every meeting we have has to be a Teams meeting, video meeting.
Yeah.
So that means I have to put on a shirt that's halfway clean and have holes in it.
have to look alert.
Have to look alert, sit here with a cup of coffee. Now I can still wear my underwear below the desk.
That was my next question, Phil.
They don't have to see that.
So you get to work from home, Phil?
I am working at home, yes.
Good. That's a good deal.
Oh, I love it. I'll tell you, I'm 10 feet between the bed and the office.
Well, it saves you a lot of gas money too.
My routine was to fill my pickup up once a week
Yeah.
when I had to drive out to Mike Monroney. And since I've been teleworking, I fill it up once a month, whether I need to or not.
Hey, that's like getting a pay raise, isn't it?
Yeah, that's well, for my pickup, that's the equivalent of a $300 a month pay raise.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
good deal.
I mean, I know my gasoline expense has doubled, since the first of the year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Easily.
Yeah, not to mention gasoline prices have gone way up.
Yeah. You know,
That's
my wife,
exactly what I thought about.
my wife and I used to travel a lot, and we would have a pickup and fifth wheel. We would go. It would be nothing to go, several times a year on vacation. One year we took 5 vacations, and one of them was clear up to Seattle, Washington, and we drove down the California coast. And I don't remember how many thousands of miles that was, but I was just thinking the other day how much that would cost in gasoline to do that trip nowadays. You wouldn't be able to afford it, man.
I'm going to pipe in here for a second. Is there anybody at Station 7 that's listening?
What was that, Galen?
I think
I was looking to,
they're all out playing with the dog,
yeah.
with Lucky.
Okay. Well, oh well. Hey, were any of you guys in the mobile command post when it was down there for field day?
I was.
Was you working in it by chance? I'm missing a smoke detector in the back end, and I'm just trying to figure out where the heck it's at.
I was back there with Mark, playing with the FT8. Is that back there where it's missing?
Yes.
What kind of smokes do you have in there? Smoke detectors?
I just plain old regular smoke detector. It's fallen. It probably has worked its way loose, vibrated loose and dropped, but I can't figure, you'd think it would be somewhere, but I can't find it. So I just thought maybe I'd see if you guys had noticed it was missing or not.
No. Is it a wireless or battery powered, or what kind is it?
Battery.
Battery. Do you know what kind of smoke detector it was?
Not without looking at the other 2 that are in the truck.
Okay. I was just thinking we might have a spare in the warehouse if it would work for you.
Oh, it's no big deal. It's just,
Yeah.
I can't imagine where it would have gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy called me from Boston, Oregon, needed a smoke detector for a remote radio site. Well, the ones we use have a contact that's wired into the alarm system, so it'll telemeter the alarm back to a center. And finding the match in the logistics information system, it was tough. I told him,
Some of those won't communicate with the alarm system if it's tied in.
yeah, normal
just
open
depends.
contact, normal closed contact. I told him to take his cell phone, make a picture of it and send it to me. Maybe I could match it up with that.
Yeah. Hey, Phil, are you going to be on the Aries Net tonight?
Yes.
All right. I am in San Antonio, Texas. Would you check me in when they have that?
Sure.
Okay. I appreciate
Well, is it hot in San Antonio?
it. It was right at 100 degrees when I pulled into town.
Wow.
Yeah.
95% humidity.
I was telling Ken before you jumped on, I got my hotel room and I thought it's kind of getting warm in here. And I just noticed the temperature kept going up. The AC had gone out in the hotel room I was in, so they had to move me.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I kind of want that AC tonight.
That's considered life support in San Antonio.
Yeah. It's about as bad here today anyway.
Well, I'll tell you, it was hot and sticky yesterday up there.
Yeah. I think our high today was 96, but heat index was about 105.
I can tell you, standing out in it, it was miserable.
I believe it.
We've been running disaster exercises the last 2 days and standing outside of the mobile command post, man, it's just, I was just drenched.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to jump off here and I think I must have got a little too much sun on my eyes. They're kind of bothering me. So I think I'm going to bail out and tell you all have a good night.
Okay, Galen, we'll see you next time.
All right.
Have a good
night.
Phil, tell him I probably won't be on the Aries Net tonight.
Okay. Well, do you want me to ask them for a check-in for you?
I don't believe in that. You know that.
I don't either.
Not for Aries, I don't. The other nets, that's fine, but
Yeah.
for
Either you're there or you're not.
That's right.
So don't check me in then.
Oh,
Check you in.
I wasn't dogging anybody else, but I just, there's Mark there. So anyway, cool. Y'all have a good night.
Good
Take
night.
care, Galen.
Stay cool.
Yeah. One more day of this, then maybe I'll get to stay cool.
A little bigger picture. They need my wide angle camera in there so we can see everyone that's in the room.
Got a pretty good view and the image is pretty sharp.
Yeah, good sharp image.
I'm getting pretty close on getting my EME array for 70 centimeters ready to go. Still need to do.
Is it a parabolic or a Yagi array?
It's a pair of Yagis,
Got them both.
a pair of 20 element Yagis.
Okay.
It's going to be a small station. It's about 15 dB gain. No, 18 dB gain. One of them is 15 dBs, and when you add another one, you only get 3 more dBs.
3 more. Yeah.
So
Still, that's quite a bit of gain for that's a VHF.
it's UHF. It's 70 centimeters.
70 centimeters. Like
430.
Yeah.
432 megahertz.
I was thinking UHF when I said that.
Yeah. I've done 2 meters moon bounce before, and I had a big antenna then, but that's the problem with 2 meters. The antennas are too big. To get,
Yeah, yeah.
I had 4 M squared antennas that were 17 elements each with 33-foot long boom.
Lord,
And
it
you
looks like NASA.
put 4 of them together and it's a monster.
Yeah. Well, do you have a clock motor driving that, keeping it lined up with the moon, or?
I did before on 2 meters. I don't have that part going yet on this one, but I'm gonna just point it by hand at first until I get everything working. And that if I can find all my pieces, I'm going to build a one that will do azimuth and elevation both and automatically track it.
Yeah.
I've done that before. I've got a homemade tracker that it uses a basic stamp chip. You know what that is, Phil?
No.
It's a little computer on a chip, and it uses kind of a basic language to program it. And it's been 10 years ago whenever I built that thing, and I'm not too good on programming C++, so I did it with that chip because I knew I could do the basic language programming, and so that worked out pretty good to do that. It's kind of old technology stuff, but not like the new stuff they have now. But
Yeah. Well, if it controls what you need, it's good enough. I'm like you. I never got into C. I do basic and Pascal and Fortran.
I just lost interest I wasn't really all that interested in programming. I like to do the hardware part of it.
Yeah, I hate software.
Yeah.
For somebody that doesn't know anything about computers, I mean, I can turn it on sometimes. Where would be a good place to start? What would be a good start to try to learn them? I mean, I was thinking about maybe just taking like a Windows 10 course.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, here I am, how many years we've been working on, have computers, and I work on them every day, but I really don't know anything about them at all.
Well, I build all my own computers. I've got several. I've got 3 homemade computers right here in this ham shack, and 1 in my Astro shed, and a couple more around. And I buy the motherboard and the case and the processor and the memory, all that stuff, and put it together. And if you do that, you can get a good computer. If you go buy one, you get a mediocre computer for 3 times the price.
Yeah.
But that's what everybody does because it's easy to just go buy one.
See, I think it would be fascinating to build one. I'm kind of like you. I'm not big on programming or anything like that. But
You can go to Newegg, and they have like a bundle that you can get order the motherboard, and it tells you what processor and what memory goes with that motherboard, so you get the right parts to fit it. And then you can order a case. You can order a case that's got the power supply already in it.
Okay.
So of course, this is not counting the monitor. You can get whatever monitor and keyboard you want. I always use Logitech keyboard and mouse. Don giving it a thumbs up there.
Nothing better for the money, dude.
Yeah. And the monitors, man, all monitors are good nowadays.
Yeah.
You can't hardly go wrong on monitors. There's 3 ViewSonic monitors here in the ham shack, and they're probably every one of them 7 or 8 years old. Never had a hitch with any of them. We used to view sonic monitors at work. We had good luck with them there, so I just
Yeah.
kind of stayed with it.
Good cheap monitors.
Yeah, they work good. I have never had a problem with them.
This is a Hans Spree
Yeah.
or Hans. They made a lot of Hans this and Hans that.
They didn't even have that whenever I bought these.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. This sucker's, oh my goodness. This one's easily 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
And then my other monitor off the side's a Westinghouse, believe it or not, brand TV
Yeah.
that the remote crapped out on. It's not the remote, it's the remote receiver.
Yeah.
And I can't be bothered to bust the thing open and fix it, but it worked fine. I run through my work laptop. I run HDMI audio through it as well. So it's my set of speakers for my work laptop. Yeah. So cheap monitors are good.
And Mike, you can buy all the hardware and just assemble it, and then you can buy Windows 10 and
You brought this in.
You got it.
Hi, Dr. Phil.
Hi there. Glad you got the audio back on.
Always good to see Dr. Phil.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at Davey there.
Yeah.
So anyway, another thing is desktop computers are a lot more versatile than a laptop. The only time you really need a laptop is if you're going to take it out in the field. Laptops are expensive and you can't upgrade them.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Well, and
You can add a little bit of RAM to them, but not much.
And if you're hurting for desktop space, you can get a mini desktop that'll
Oh yeah.
still beat the pants off a laptop.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna save money.
My son just built one, and it's got a really small case on it. And you don't need big cases nowadays because we're using solid state hard drives. They don't take up very much room. They don't use much power. They don't produce much heat. So you can get the size down pretty small on a desktop type computer. He built the reason he got a small case is he's going to use it for astrophotography, and he needed a faster computer that had USB 3s on it. And most of all of our laptops around here don't have USB 3 on them. And whenever he's doing astrophotography, the computer controls the mount on the that follows the whatever he's shooting. We mostly shoot nebulas, but it also has to do the download of the images from the camera all over the USB port. So you're trying to keep the camera on target and download the data from the pictures. And we shoot a lot of pictures. Well, we might shoot a couple of 100 shots, all of the same image. And the exposure time might be 4 or 5 minutes for each one of them. So it's a big file that is downloading across that USB port. And then we take all of those images and stack them together to make one image. So he basically built this computer so he could just use it for astrophotography.
So it's a computer motor drive.
Yeah, it's a motor driven.
That accurate enough to hold the camera steady over a long exposure time like that.
Yeah, that's the trick. You have to have a good solid mount. And the one in our Astro shed it's a cement pier with the mount mounted on that.
Oh, yeah,
Is
there's the
it
ground.
The cement pier is we poured the cement pier. It's 12-inch diameter, And then there's an air gap between the pier and the concrete floor so that when you walk on the concrete floor, you won't vibrate the pier.
Oh my gosh.
Or does it have some anti-shock mounts or rubber bits?
No, it's a separate piece. The pier is not connected, does not touch the slab floor. In other words, there's a little gap in there of about a half inch.
Right. What holds it up off the floor?
Nothing. The pier goes down in the ground about 3 foot.
Sure,
Oh, I got you. The concrete. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
And it's steel
Gigantic.
reinforced.
gigantic slab of rock.
Yeah. So that thing don't move. But
I understand now.
we had once you get it all aligned, it stays that way. But if you have an earthquake like we did, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I had to realign that sucker because it was off.
Oh my gosh.
And
You line it up to the North Star or what?
yeah, yep. And several other North Star and several other stars.
Now, what kind of scope do you have on that?
We've got several different telescopes. The one in the Astro Shed is it's called an astrograph, and it's an 8-inch diameter, 800 millimeter scope.
8-inch Cassegrain scope.
Huh?
Cassegrain scope.
Yeah, yeah. And it's pretty fast. It's a f2.8.
Oh wow.
So it's a fast.
Pretty good for that long of a, yeah.
Well, you don't need a real powerful scope for what we do. We're doing nebulas, and nebulas are big, and we shoot nebulas that's millions of light years out in space.
Me being a photographer from way back, I remember when Leica came out with F2.
Well, yeah,
And that was just a camera lens.
f2.8 is really fast for 800 millimeter
It
lens.
sure is. It sure is. And what I'm talking about, a F2 50 millimeter, 35 millimeter camera lens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a few years ago. I think they've gotten real close to F1 by now, but if they've not surpassed it, but.
Well, I had a Nikon 135 millimeter f1.8 lens.
Yeah.
That sucker was, it was that big around, and it was heavy.
Big light bucket.
It was really a nice lens.
Yeah, that's pretty, I don't even want to know what that cost back then.
It was a lot of money, and I can't remember how much I gave for it. It was like $400 or $500, which now that sucker used would cost you $1,000 because they don't make it anymore. And
yeah. Now was that autofocus or was that before
no,
the days?
Not autofocus. No.
Yeah. No,
the good lenses are not autofocus.
I would agree with you, sir.
And
I remember when I was a kid, my dad he had a Minolta, I don't know, XE7 or something, and he went on a trip to the Virgin Islands, bought about 2 models better camera, but the same series. But what he did was he bought one with a lower f-stop lens.
Mm-hmm.
We swapped them over. I got the one with the lower f-stop lens,
Mm-hmm.
which I was plenty pleased to have.
Other than that, yeah.
As a high school kid.
Yeah, and another thing, fixed focal length lens is far better than a zoom lens.
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
Although I've had actually, I don't know what mine are. I think they're Tamrons. And you know what? For general photography, they're not darn bad.
Tamron makes some pretty good lenses, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna go see if I can find them.
They make lenses, Tamron lenses that fit on a Nikon camera body or a Canon camera body. They may even make them for Pentax.
Hi, everybody up in the top end corner.
Hi there.
Glad to see you.
Hi, Phil.
Speaking of a man with a new computer.
Yes, I'm on it. I had
Yeah.
to install Zoom, so anyway, I thought, well, I joined the meeting.
Well, I'm glad you did.
I'm glad I did too. You all look good on this great big screen on my new computer.
So you got your computer all set up and running and
Yeah, there's a couple of things I haven't put in yet. Just small little items, but this is a big jump for me. This is not a laptop. This is the all-in-one computer. Pretty neat.
my problem is the CD cable off of my radio has a CD connector on the radio end and a RS-232 connector on the computer end. And it's hard to find a computer anymore with an RS-232 connector.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
No, no, actually, Phil, it's not. You just need to go over and look at my basement.
He has everything in his basement.
Yeah, okay. Now this one's a Samyang. So not quite a Tamron. But 75-300.
Yeah,
That 4.5 was not expensive. I got all my camera stuff. I've had all my camera stuff stolen twice.
Oh,
Once in high school when I left it in the darkroom, and another time again when I got stolen out of my house when we lived in Norman.
okay, this is a Nikon Pro
Sweet.
D610 with a short zoom on it
Uh-huh.
that goes down to 2.8.
Okay.
yeah, like a 35-70 zoom.
I think that's what it is, Phil. But it's a 2.8 and it's an EDIF low distortion,
Yeah.
and the
Hi there.
f-stop.
Yeah, we're being boring talking about cameras.
No, not at all. I just had to come in and say, hi, everybody.
I'm glad you did.
The,
You run the old man off.
Yeah, he's right here.
Oh, there he is.
The f-stop on this lens, Phil, does not change when you zoom it.
Okay.
Oh.
That doubles the price.
Yeah, see, so most of them, if you have a f2.8, that's at the short end. But when you zoom out, it goes down to f4 or f5.6.
Yeah, that's what
2.8 all the way through.
you see. These lenses f2.8 to f5.6.
Yeah.
Well, it's always 5.6 where you want to take a picture.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Yeah, that one I just showed you is a 4.5 to 5.6, 75-300. Now, Ken, how's this for an old flash unit?
Yeah, that's a oldie but goodie.
That
I got
was
one
my
of those.
first. That was the first flash unit my dad bought with his camera.
I cut the wire off of mine and made an RF remote out of it. So I set it on a flash stand.
Why does this
It had
not
film
surprise
flash.
you?
Yeah.
Well, whenever I was doing wildlife photography, I had a couple of big lenses. I had a Nikon Nikkor 300 f2.8 and I had a 500 f4. And you got to have fast lenses when you do
Okay.
wildlife photography because
Yeah.
you got to have some shutter speed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you gotta get a shutter speed
Yeah.
up.
Because wildlife, most of the shots were in low light situations, early morning and late evening.
Yeah. Well, this is the shorty version of the one I just showed you. Another Samyang, 28-70.
Mm-hmm.
But I do actually have a Minolta 1.750 right sitting right here. So yeah. And believe it or not, 3 brand new rolls of film.
What is that camera body, Minolta or?
That is an X700.
Yeah.
Yeah, X700. Yeah. Yeah, I had an XE7 and Dad bought an XG7, and then my XE7 got stolen, and I got an X700, and then that got stolen, and I got another. I picked up another X700 fairly inexpensively.
Well,
And because one of those, one of those places in popular photography that had, 3 pages of stuff or 4 pages of stuff advertised. If any of you ever remember that stuff, but yeah, so I called them up and I said, "What's my best deal?" And they said, these for what you're doing, these Phoenix Samyang lenses are okay, and we'll get you the camera sorted out.
I used to buy stuff from that B&H Photo in New York.
It might well have been B&H, dude. It may well have been B&H. B&H or Adorama.
Yeah.
Probably one of the two. And, but yeah, I bought some stuff. Oh, this film's still in date. This film's still got a year left on it.
Yeah.
I used to keep my film in a crisper in the refrigerator. One time, this is, before digital cameras came out, I was shooting Fuji 50 and Fuji 100 and Kodachrome 64. And we went to Yellowstone. I took 50 rolls of film with me, 36 exposure, and I came back with 3 rolls. So man, we shot a lot of film.
I just don't want to know what it cost you to develop all of that, but then again, Kodachrome was cheaper to develop than print film.
Yeah, this is all slide film. I don't print.
I shot a lot of Kodachrome.
Magazine editors want slide film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't take prints.
Because it was easier to make copy from.
Well, it's better quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I imagine they would take that and project it and then shoot it again. And they would take it and project it onto whatever, onto a copy cam, and then take a copy cam picture of it, and then they would have what they needed, or however they did it. Or in fact, if you know how they did it, you tell me. I presume that's how they did it.
But I know everybody now don't even have a camera; they just use their cell phone.
Oh no, I have a little fairly inexpensive Fuji camera that, honestly, I never even turn it up to full. It's a 8 or 12 megapixel, and I rarely turn it up to full resolution because the files are too darn big.
Here, I have a picture. Here, I have one of my shots here. Got a bunch of stuff on the covering it up.
Okay. Well, while you're looking that up, I got a little story for you. Oh, okay.
Front cover of Outdoor.
Oh, nice. Unfortunately, you're getting a lot of reflection. There you go.
There
you go.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a ground squirrel or what is that?
The prairie dog.
Oh, that's a prairie dog. Okay. That was hard to tell the size.
Good shot.
Yeah. Well, if you want fox squirrels, you can shoot all you want over here, photographically and etc.
I was kidding my buddy at work. He's really into high-end photography, so he's got a Canon D5.
Yeah.
I told him, said the digital cameras are getting so good that in a few years they're going to be almost as good as Kodachrome 64.
Yeah.
I used to shoot a lot of 25. I mean, talk about some good freaking resolution, dude.
I don't know
but even 64.
I don't know if they'll get as good as Kodachrome 25 or not, but they are already good, very good right now. And
they're very good.
Magazine editors are taking digital images, so it tells you right there.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I got to leave, I got to make it there, and I'll catch all you guys later.
Oh, if we didn't bore you.
No. Interesting stuff. Okay. Bye, y'all.
Get it all worked out.
Yeah. Okay, Phil. We'll see y'all.
So, yeah, I don't know if this is. I'm going to take a quick channel change here, but we were talking about hard drives, and this is your standard mechanical hard drive that you've had in your computer for years.
Yeah.
And most of you guys know this, but I don't know if everybody does. And okay, this is a mechanical hard drive that I pulled out of my laptop when I replaced with a solid state. But the SSD was actually slightly thinner than this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, slightly. I mean, and they make SSDs that plug into computer slots right on the motherboard, and they have, they're like slightly
Okay.
bigger than a memory stick, and that's all they are.
The new computer that my son just built, it's got 2 slots for M.2 drives.
Uh-huh.
And that's what that is. And he's got a half a terabyte on this little drive.
Yeah.
That is not, it's about the size of a USB stick, but it's
Yeah,
flat.
yeah.
And
About the size of a standard or about the size of a standard computer memory.
Yeah, it's the size
with a little socket on the end. Yeah.
But
I
it's flat.
happen to know I had these sitting here from my upgrade because I've never found a home for them, and I'll probably build another computer with them someday. Some little low end computer or something.
And the prices came way down on them when I first bought the solid state hard drive. They were a couple $100 for. I was buying the Intel 40 gigabyte for $200, and I would use that for drive C, and I was using a big mechanical hard drive for storage. And the price has come down on them a whole lot now. You can get a 500 gigabyte drive, solid state hard drive now for $60.
Yeah, they have to be fast nowadays, though.
Well,
like Windows 10 takes 12 gigabytes just to load.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Ken, do you recognize that name?
I can't read it. Oh,
Soligar.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one from my much younger days too.
Yeah.
It was probably one of my dad's. It's a little ripped up. It was probably one of my dad's shorty lenses.
Quality wise, they're about the same as a Tamron.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I've actually those cheapy Phoenix ones, Samyang. For what I do with it, they're absolutely fine. Probably not for doing your good nature distance photography, but for I kind of got into newspaper. A lot of stuff I did was doing school and college newspaper photography, sports and events, and the resolution just doesn't need to be that good on that stuff.
Yeah. What was you saying, Phil? Before I cut you off?
I'm sorry, I cut him off too.
You said the hard drives nowadays have to be super fast.
Yeah.
Because it takes so much to load the operating system.
Yeah. That is another thing about these M.2 drives. It's like a fast EEPROM or EROM, and it's right on the motherboard. So there's not really an interface. It dumps that stuff right onto the bus. So it is really fast. You can transfer data from one M.2 drive to another at 300 megabytes per second. You can't believe how fast you can transfer data.
Yeah.
Whereas with a mechanical hard drive, you're transferring data at 15, 20 megabytes per second.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got a external hard drive that's 3 megabytes. Three USB 3.
Yeah, they're pretty fast.
Yeah, it's fairly fast, but it's still a mechanical hard drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still got a motor in it.
It's still got a motor in it, and yeah, every if it's been sitting a while, it'd take it a half a second to spin up.
Okay. This is it's a little solid state drive, and
yeah,
I've got a connector on it. Can't get it in the picture.
Yeah, now see, that's about the same size as the one I was just
that connector right there. I can plug that in to a USB port, and then you can transfer data from one place to another.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I picked one of those cables up too. The cable with the built-in adapter.
You can put a lot more data on here to transfer than you can a USB stick.
Yeah. And it doesn't weigh much more than maybe a half a dozen USB sticks.
Yeah, it's not much to it.
Now, do you have to use separate power for that one, or is that one powered by the port?
That's USB. You plug it in USB port and you go.
Okay.
Solid state Intel
Yep.
hard drive.
That's what I thought.
It's a big memory stick.
I used something similar when I upgraded my laptop, my netbook, and my desktop. Unfortunately, I was hoping to get a whole lot more speed out of my netbook, and I didn't. I also broke the number 1 key off the keyboard in the process, and kind of got sour grapes and threw the thing in the closet.
I've got a netbook that I bought years ago, and I've been disappointed with it from the day I got it.
Oh no, I mean no, mine. This was back in the Windows 95 days, okay? And when I bought it for $250 or whatever I paid for it, I was absolutely ecstatic to have it because I could take it to work.
Yeah.
And my wife liked it so much, she's got one now too.
I'm going to give mine to somebody for a logging computer.
Yeah, or throw Linux on it.
I put Windows 7. I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't think Windows 7 would run on mine. Even with the expanded memory in the hard drive.
I'm still running 7 on my government laptop, but I've got 10 on my personal laptop.
Yeah, same here.
I have nothing against Windows 7.
7 was a good OS.
7 right here on the FA one.
Yep. Mine's right there.
Mhm.
That's the only thing I don't like about it. It doesn't have the take screenshot option. But there's a software called Snagit that is actually approved by FAA and available on the MDT site.
Oh.
So yeah. Phil, if you need something like that, email me and I'll find you the link to it.
On Windows 7 screenshot, all you have to do is shift print screen.
Well, yeah, but you do something in Windows 10 and or with the app Snagit, you can just draw a window around what you want and just grab what you want, which is nice. Not have to take the whole thing, because I found if you're running multiple monitors and you do a print screen, you're gonna pull it all.
They gave me a copy of Photoshop, so I can snag your photo and post.
Oh yeah, that works too.
I use Photoshop for years. I love it.
Yeah, I've actually developed a new appreciation for Microsoft Paint, because some things will only come up in Microsoft Paint, or because you can always do a print screen and paste it in Microsoft Paint. It always works. So
you can do that with Photoshop and much more.
Well, I know you can, but I don't have Photoshop.
Yeah.
On the work or the home.
They gave me the Photoshop and they gave me the full-blown copy of Adobe Acrobat.
Yeah. I used to have that. I haven't used it in a long time.
I need to go talk nice to my IT guys.
But Photoshop is quite the program, though.
It's not like it's an overkill for what I use it for.
Oh yeah.
It would be for me too.
I got guys out in the field that are taking pictures with a cell phone camera and emailing them to me.
Yeah.
And then I pull them up in Photoshop and blow them up.
Yeah.
Now we're both looking at the same piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You can manipulate them, crop them, blow them up, make the image size bigger, contrast, brightness. You can do all kinds of stuff quickly with Photoshop.
I had a guy down in El Paso that decided he needed to take his wire wrap block and Bantam jack panel apart. And he had about 12 pieces. And I had him photograph it all and send it all to me. We like to never got that thing back together.
Was he trying to troubleshoot something or what?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what he was doing, but let's just say that his English is a whole lot better than my Spanish.
Well, it is El Paso. I mean,
It's
you
El
find
Paso.
that even in honestly anywhere in the FAA, you're going to find that. There are folks. I mean, you're going to find Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Guatemalans, everybody. So they're all here and they're all our friends. We take care of them.
Well, most of the Mexican guys I work with are pretty nice. They're okay. The only problem I had was when I had to load up all the FAA equipment and take it to Tijuana. And the Mexican,
Oh, you had to actually go across the border.
I walked
for that
across
to
the
help
border
with the other
pushing
end of the
a
lake.
two-wheel dolly. Yeah.
I don't envy you there.
And I got across there, and the Mexican FAA guys met me at the crossing bridge.
Oh, well, that's good.
And they loaded me up in the car, and they were really nice. They took me. We did our job, and got all done. They brought me back, and then I had to load that equipment up and push it into the customs office because I was a pedestrian, right? So here I'm pushing a two-wheel dolly loaded with equipment, and those U.S. customs agents just could not understand. They couldn't wrap their head around that.
The fact that you'd only brought it through a few hours or days before.
Right, I brought it through that morning. Yes.
Yeah.
What are you doing in Tijuana? Why are you down there? How come all this stuff you have say property of U.S. government on it?
And I had to ask.
Yeah.
I had to ask, Phil.
Oh,
are you a U.S. citizen?
Yeah.
I've had problems with British customs for years. I mean, we've sent presents over to our English relatives well within the, we've documented them exactly what they want. We've documented them. It's this is worth $30. This is worth $25, and they know how to do the conversion, and they still charge them freaking customs on it when they receive it.
Yeah.
So what we did last year, and this is through the Postal Service. What we did last year is we shipped it through another shipping service that went UPS. So it went through a different customs office when it got there. Zero customs charges.
Yep.
And it got there just as fast for about the same amount of money. Yeah.
Well, the last time I went to Tijuana, they hired me an escort service. First time the government's ever bought me an escort service, okay? But it cost us $1,500.
Had to think about that.
Yeah.
How'd she look?
Oh, she looked good. She had this big black Suburban that the doors on it weighed about 200 pounds. I don't know what kind of armor she had in the door.
Yeah.
And they loaded up all my gear at the hotel in San Diego.
Wow.
Drove to the border, and it was actually a he. Drove around to this office behind the border and went in with all of our passports and stuff like that. Came out with a big handful of paper, jumped in the car. And when we got to the gate, we didn't even slow down. He just waved and drove right through.
Yeah.
Drove us right to the airport. Came back at 4 o'clock and picked us up and drove us home.
Yeah. I need a park pass for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even get shot at.
Yeah.
That's usually a good thing.
I went there in 2005 and I got shot at.
We walked across the border to Juarez years ago, and man, that is a pathetic armpit of the world. It's kind of like.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine, especially right near the border,
Yeah,
it is because that's the touristy bit.
Well, I got 900 megahertz equipment in Juarez at the airport, and the other end of it is at the airport in El Paso. And the controllers talk to each other
yeah,
when general aviation flights, when the legal ones go across the border, they talk to each other, and the flight lands at the customs station and gets checked. And the local system support office won't even allow their own people to go across the Juarez now. It's totally off limits.
yeah. It's a bad place.
Well, yeah, but they'll send the contractors over.
I told them I would go if they would take me in an armed Black Hawk helicopter and land me directly at the base of the
Yeah.
control tower where I could jump out of the helicopter and run in.
Mhm.
They probably thought about it.
I'm not driving across town. No way, no how.
Well, we walked across the border, from El Paso to Juarez, and I sure wouldn't want to drive across the border.
I got to mute this thing and do the net.
Okay, Phil, good talking to you. So how many more years you gonna work, Mike?
Probably 10 more. I've
Why
been
so
counting them
much?
down. What's that?
You could retire in a few years.
Yeah, I'll probably hang around 10 more. Did Don take off?
He'll be back. And
Okay,
Phil had to stop and do the net.
okay. Yeah, I was going to ask Don if he got that coax ran through his brick wall yet.
Oh, that's a good idea. We know he didn't.
Oh,
So that living in a motel don't get it, does it?
no, I don't have to do it too often, but I have here lately. We don't have a crew down here in San Antonio, and it looks like we're going to pick up a bank, and I'm going to have to hire a couple of guys in the San Antonio area. If that's the case, I'll probably come down for about a week out of the month to get them all lined out and trained. So that's all right. So I'll find me a little bit nicer hotel than this one. This one's not bad,
Yeah,
but if I'm going to have to live in it for a week at a time, it needs to be a little bit nicer.
yeah.
So I'll tell you what, though, I'm glad I'm not on the install side.
Yeah.
Those guys, they live on the road.
Oh, I know it. I couldn't do that.
No.
I liked my 8 to 5 job.
Yeah.
I had at
Yeah.
Seagate.
Yeah. I used to work just down the street from you. I was at Xerox for
I
a
know
handful of
exactly.
years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was out there for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
In fact, I think, gosh, I can't remember their names now, but a number of them came from Seagate.
Mhm.
I remember them talking about it.
Yeah.
But
I really enjoyed working there because I enjoyed working with people that knew something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
yeah,
Because you can learn a lot if you're working with people that know something. So man, I really gained a lot of knowledge by working with those guys.
well, and I'll tell you, I'm no expert in what we do. Now, if it's the mechanical stuff, I'm pretty strong on the mechanical, but when it comes to the electronics, I'm pretty weak. You know, fortunately, I've got guys that work for me that are sharp.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been riding with them, just trying to pick up knowledge from them. So,
Yeah. If you're around it, you'll pick up some.
yeah. You know, so, but I'll tell you what, the thing that's really stressful is the fire. You know, all this fire alarms, smokes and
Yeah.
strobes. And we had had one of our customers get hit by lightning yesterday.
Wow.
And it fried their fire panel.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to we had to call the fire marshal and red tag their fire panel because, you know, there's no notification whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the fastest we can get a replacement board for that panel is 2 days. And if it goes over 72 hours, they have to shut that business down.
Wow.
So,
yeah. So it's in a business.
Yeah, it's a business.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, they have customers coming and going. So.
And everything is hard to come by nowadays.
It is. Some of our ATM electronics are back ordered till 2022.
Yeah. My daughter-in-law works at Amazon, but she does swimming pools on the side, and they can't get chemicals to put in their swimming pools.
Is that right?
Yeah. Hard to get.
Wow.
And so there's thousands of people out there with swimming pools turning green.
we had at our house, we had a really we still have it, a deck, and we had an above ground pool that was kind of dug into the ground, and the deck was around it. And the wife was reading online. This was probably 7 or 8 years ago now. Different ways to shock the pool, you know, rather than buying the chemicals at the store. So she started pouring bleach into it, and which was fine.
It takes a lot of bleach, so.
Well, what happened was that bleach ate pinholes in that liner, and we didn't understand why the thing kept losing water.
Yeah.
Until the liner finally just gave away. But yeah, that bleach ate that liner up.
Well, that's what that shock is bleach.
Well, sounds to me that the bleach didn't get disseminated properly or slowly enough, because
maybe
that's all shock is it's a chlorine product.
So it pulled up in one place there, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, and Mike, I missed the beginning of this. What size and type of pool?
It was an above ground. It was probably 10 feet across. It wasn't very big.
Oh, 10 footer. So, but still a proper above ground pool, right?
Yeah.
Or was it one of the inexpensive ones?
No, it was it was dug into the ground a little bit. And
okay. It was properly leveled, and okay, fair enough. Yeah. But then again, you can buy a liner for that for a few $100. Yeah. Or did you just can it?
We ended up just canning it. The kids by that time were grown, and we just weren't out there very much.
Well, so. How many years did it take to fail?
About a year.
Oh, okay. Well, I had we had an 18-foot above ground pool, and our liner failed the first year too. So not because of we don't think it was because of chemicals, but we think it was because of it got an abrasion.
Oh, you're talking about how long did the liner last?
Yeah.
Before the bleach, it was probably a good 7 years. Yeah.
Excuse me for spitting on the camera. Yeah, you got your money's worth out of that, dude.
Yeah,
we did. My goodness.
Hey, since you're back, I got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
You were talking about
none of the above.
You were talking about cameras. Will you do me a favor and shoot a picture of that coax that you brought through the brick wall of your house so I can see that?
Yeah, as soon as I get around to doing it. Thanks. I was just telling my wife that I got to do this because I've been telling these guys I'm going to do it. I got to freaking do it.
It's been about 2 or 3 months now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's been since I moved in. I've already figured out what I need to do. I need to measure the width of the wall right here. I need to measure from here to the closet. the width of the closet. Well, actually, what I can probably just do is take the measurement from the inside front wall back about a foot into the closet, and make sure if I put it there, it's going to clear the studs in the closet, and figure out what the depth of the front wall is, how much I need to come up high outside, and cut a freaking half a brick out of there. I know what I need to do. And thank you, Mike. Oh, no offense, dude. You guys need to keep beating me up till I do this.
Hey, Don, I say again, if you take a half a brick out and the mortar on each side of the half a brick, a 3-inch schedule 40 PVC will go right in the hole.
Or a standard single box will fit quite fine in there too.
You don't even need to take out a half a brick to do that.
Well, yeah, I know. I was going to try to take out as minimal as I can and put a like an interior box, set it in there from the outside, and then an exterior box on the outside with one of those in-use covers that has the holes on the bottom. I'm using my middle. Sorry, good thing you didn't see that. I was using my middle finger. But yeah, it has the cover that comes down and the holes on the bottom, so you can leave the coax in there, but leave it sealed. And yeah, I mean, in my house I had in Norman, that was back when they had you could buy this like 3-inch square gutters. I mean, gutters and downspouts. Well, the downspouts were like 3-inch square plastic. They don't even sell that stuff anymore. But that with a 45 on it was perfect for going through half a brick. But I'm kind of, I'm older. I realize that the house needs to be saleable when I'm done. So we put a box on the outside, a box on the inside, a cover box on the outside, and when we're done, we put some cover plates on it.
That'll work.
And if another ham radio guy moves in, I'll just leave it alone.
And we're going to see a picture of that next week.
I'll consider it. I may need to go. Yeah, what's the weather looking like on Friday? No, I was really thinking about that too, and I was really hoping you guys were going to wind me up about it because it needs done. I mean, even if I've got a hold of the outside, then I've got no excuse for not putting antennas up.
So, Mike, have you been down and rode the boat down on the river walk?
Downtown, Oklahoma City?
On River Walk?
Oh, last time I was here a month ago. Yeah, I went down there and did the boat ride down there.
That's pretty cool.
It was. I'm going to try to get back over there tomorrow if I can. Sneak over there.
I may need to take the day off on Friday. Friday, Indianapolis. Mostly sunny, high of 81.
It's like a cold front, right?
That looks like good hammer drill weather. Because I figure I'm going to hammer drill a couple of holes around this brick and then knock the rest of it out.
Here you go.
Oh yeah, no, you guys, please. Hey, Mike, where are you normally? What's your QTH?
South Oklahoma City.
Oh, you're in South OKC. Where exactly?
Yeah, I'm
More
right on the border, of Moore and Oklahoma City.
Okay.
You know where Fourth and Santa Fe is?
Oh, I sure do.
Okay, I'm on the
I used to live there. I mean, I used to live in Norman, so, and I've been back about 1,000 times with the FAA.
Yep, I'm the northwest corner, so I'm on the Oklahoma City side.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Still Cleveland County. Still Cleveland County.
Well, that's a good thing.
I don't know. Property taxes are pretty steep, but
well, they're going to be steep in either county. I mean, oh my goodness, yeah, that's one thing I've.
Hey, see, I'm in Pottawatomie County, and
you pay like what? Well, like $50 a year in property taxes.
They're a whole lot cheaper than Canadian County, Oklahoma County,
Yeah.
Cleveland County, and
Yeah.
Tulsa County
Yeah, well,
are the high-priced counties.
I'm just outside of Indianapolis, and Indianapolis is Marion County.
Yeah,
I am in Hendricks County, which is actually probably one of the more prosperous counties in Indiana. However, our property taxes are still not horrible.
yeah.
And well, the interesting thing is, I am in this really weird. I think I've told you guys, I'm in this really weird little neighborhood. I'm surrounded by incorporated areas with HOAs, but I'm in a township.
That's a good
There
thing.
you go.
There's like 60 or 70 of us in this neighborhood.
I'm in a homeowners HOA type thing here too, but it doesn't say anything about antennas.
Yeah, well, I mean, and some of them are just like,
Mhm.
they just want you to make sure you cut your yard once in a while.
Yeah, and I can't have any pigs in my backyard.
Oh, you in an old fart complex?
No, I'm in it's a small addition here. There's about 10 homes on a horseshoe shaped
Well,
road. Everybody's
did you
got,
say kids or something else?
I said pigs.
Oh, pigs. I thought you said you couldn't have any kids in your backyard.
Well, that would be okay.
That'd be okay for me too. Although, did I tell you guys about going up to Lake George?
About what?
I don't think I told you guys about going up to Lake George. I think I missed the Tuesday.
Yeah, you went camping up there.
Yeah, well, we stayed in a hotel, but yeah. My little 6-year-old cousin, well, I guess second cousin, because it's my cousin's kid, got me wrapped around. Oh yeah. I don't know why she likes a fat old bastard like me, but
Guess you got her fooled, huh?
no, because I was nice to her. Yeah.
Hey, Don, I mean, not Don, but Ken,
Mhm.
when you were driving back and forth to Seagate, I actually drove from Moore, when I used to live in Moore, to Shawnee every day.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I was in a mortgage business back in the day. And I saw more accidents on I-40 between Oklahoma City and Shawnee
Yeah,
before they started doing all the road work they're doing now.
yeah.
I mean, it was just almost weekly I saw accidents out there.
Yeah, I mean, but how bad was the road actually? I mean, was it the road or was it just the idiots?
Well, they drive too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Texas. They drive 80 mile an hour.
Oh, it's funny as hell. Washington Street, which is well, it's Highway 40, which runs more or less right on the north side of Indianapolis Airport. Speed limit's 45. I think I've said this before. If you're not doing 60, you're going to get run over.
Well, I
And even
drove
if
this.
you are doing 60, you may get run over.
Yeah, I drove this. It was 49 miles from here to work. I had to go across to Oklahoma City.
No.
I did that for 26 years. And
sorry.
when they offered me that retirement, that's one of the reasons why I was ready to get out.
Yeah.
I was just tired of doing that long drive, especially in the wintertime,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what would get me is when I drive home in the evenings, I'm heading towards the west
Yeah,
and that sun was setting and you're eyeballing that sun all the way in.
yeah,
You're squinting anyway. I used to get so sleepy
yeah.
driving
Well,
towards that sun.
It was the opposite for me.
Yeah.
The sun was in my back,
Mm.
going
Yeah.
to work and coming home.
I saw a guy he was standing on the side of the road and I was heading west and there was an aluminum ladder in the highway. And of course I'm squinting, trying to keep the sun out of my eyes. And I saw it at the last moment and I was able to go around it. There was a little Honda Civic behind me. Well, I looked in my rearview mirror to see if he saw that ladder. Well, he saw it at the last minute and he cut his wheels and he started fishtailing and he went off sideways off the highway and hit that guy that was standing on the side of the highway.
Oh, man.
And I'll tell you what, that knocked that guy, I bet you 20 feet in the air,
Yeah.
straight up. He was I remember he was cartwheeling.
Wow.
And
That's a good reason. If you're ever standing off the side of the highway, get on the other damn side of the rail.
yeah.
If there was a rail.
No, there wasn't there.
No.
And, but yeah.
Yeah, I've done stupid crap too like that, and I got a problem on the highway, so I'm going to stay on the highway. But yeah.
Well, one time, whenever I was going to work, I was on 240. I used to take 240 instead of going across town because I didn't like that elevated part.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you have a wreck on the elevated part, you're stuck.
You're totally screwed.
I would take
I'll be back.
240. And right there, close to where 240 in Douglas is, there was a truck in front of me. It was pretty far in front of me. It had a bunch of stuff on it, and I seen stuff flying off of that thing, and I thought it was pieces of cardboard until one of them landed in front of me, and it was pallets, wooden pallets.
Oh, wow.
Were blowing off of that thing and blowing up in the air 10 feet and coming down. And one of them pallets hit right in front of me, and I had to swerve I took the ditch or the center meridian, and I got around it. But and then the guy pulled over and started to check his load. But I swear those things were flying off there. They looked like a piece of cardboard. They were up in the air. And
well, I'm surprised.
And then another funny thing on that same road of a morning, I used to, about in the same area, I used to pass this woman. She was always in the right-hand lane. There wasn't much traffic there. And she was reading a book while she's driving. And every time I'd pass her there, pretty close to Anderson Road, every time I'd pass her, I'd honk my horn and she'd give me the finger.
Yeah, you drive that same stretch of road for that many years, you're going to see some crazy stuff, I bet.
Yeah. That was funny. I'll tell you where there's a lot of accidents. That's on Highway 9 between here and Norman.
Yes, there is.
That's a dangerous road.
That is a dangerous road. I've got a friend that they live off of 136th. Yeah, I think it's 136th over by across the street from the marina over there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's actually been in 2 accidents on that road right there in front of her house that she's trying to turn in. People just run into her.
Well, my daughter, they sold the place now, but they lived on Highway 9. You know where that Shell gas station is? I don't know. It's about 76th, or I don't remember. They live
I know.
They live. Do you know where the place is on the south side that's got the mailbox? There's 2 mailboxes, says air mail.
Yep.
Well, the next driveway down, my daughter lived there. They had 20 acres in that big rock house down there. And they just recently sold that. And she was the city council in Norman. But whenever they sold that house, they moved out of that district, and she had to give up her seat in the councilman.
Yeah.
But I really did like that place that they had there, but it was a really expensive place, and they spent a lot of money and did a lot of work on it and sold it, and they made a lot of money off of it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm measuring.
Good.
No, I need to do this crap. It's going to take me I'll be done measuring in like 5 minutes. It's so easy. But I gotta figure out where to put the hole. That's part of the problem. I don't want to come in with the hole and be too low.
I've got a 18-inch long mortar bit. It's
Yeah, I got
diameter.
the tools, man.
Drill a small hole first. That's what I'm saying, Don. I have a 1/4 inch one to make a pilot hole. If you get it in the wrong place, it's easy to fix.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly my thought. Okay, well, that's perfect. I'm 12 feet back to the doorway. So plus the 8 inches of the wall, plus another 18. So figure that out. Somebody 140, somebody figure that out. I'll figure it out for myself. So outside wall is approximately 8 inches. What I can estimate, because I got a screen because I can't stick the thing out. 144 to the middle of the doorway. And I need about another 18 to make sure I'm in the middle of 2 studs. And yes, I know how to do math. Thank you very much.
I have a calculator here if you need to borrow it.
I won't need it.
14.16.
I won't need it. Thank you very much. Well, 18 and 8, 26, right?
I don't have to get my calculator.
I came up with
No.
14.16
18,
feet.
yeah, 18 and 8 is 26. 144 and 8 is going to be a 0 and a 1 and a 70 and a 170. Which is 170 is going to be about that much.
170 inches.
170 inches, yeah, man. That's where I got it. That's how far I got to go back, and then I will do exactly what you said. I'll go in a 1/4 or 5/16 masonry bit through a corner of a mortar on a brick.
Yep.
And see where it comes up inside.
Yep.
Because if it's just in the wrong freaking place,
easy to fix.
Is easy to fix. No, I'm right with you, buddy. Right with you, sir. I've got the stuff. That's the thing. I've got numbers now. I've got numbers. Now, so how long did it take me? Like 5 minutes?
Yep.
No, couple minutes, 3 minutes.
No, it took me like freaking 18 months.
You got
it how long it took me.
Hey, what'd you learn in the Zoom meeting tonight? I learned how to add.
Yeah, well.
Well, we got Don.
I didn't do so well in first grade, so I didn't do so well in any of the grades.
So
they allowed me to go in college, but then I discovered beer and girls.
So you figured out what kind of antenna you're gonna put up outside?
Dude, let me put the hole in, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, I've got probably either an end-fed half wave heading out to the front, because where I'm going to put this hole, you go much farther back from it, and I've got power lines.
Yeah.
So probably I'm thinking either an end-fed half wave or a Wyndham with the major part of the Wyndham going towards the front.
Yeah.
2 meters, 2 and 440, not a big deal. Stick a pole on the side of the house, and a 6er. I'm not going to put any 18-foot antennas up, but honestly, standard 6-foot-ish linear Comet, even tram, unless somebody's got anything against tram, because the tram ones are cheap.
I'm using a tram at the house.
Are you happy with it?
Yeah, I'm very happy with it.
The tram 2440?
No, it's gosh, I'm going to get the numbers wrong. I want to say it's a 1418 or 1814.
Well, I mean, is it 2 meters and 440?
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's
weird that we say 2 meters and 440, because in the UK they would say 2 meters 70 cents.
Yeah. I say both.
Yeah, I do too, because I'm bilingual. Because so is my wife.
Sometimes it's say 440.
But yeah,
Sometimes it's say
but yeah,
440.
so yeah, if that's that tram, like 1478 or whatever it is, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bought it from Lowe's. Is where I got
Oh,
it.
really?
no
Yeah,
kidding.
I really,
Just had them
No, I'm
delivered to
serious.
the store.
yeah, had them delivered to the store. It's a 15-foot antenna. I paid like 100.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, paid
So
like
it's got-
140 for it.
So it's
That
got
must
some
be
gain.
bigger than the one I'm thinking of. Now, did it, okay. Yeah, the one I was looking at, I think was more of a 6 or 8 footer. But
They
yeah,
do.
it would,
They have.
for
I
it's,
think
for
I
where
kinda
I am,
want a
it'd
whole
probably
one.
be just fine. The other thing
Yeah.
is, if I'm going to put it at the peak of the roof on the corner of the gable, I don't want it to be too high. Because if it falls over, it's going to fall over into a power line.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm not really worried about it falling over after it's installed. I'm more worried about falling over while I'm putting it up.
Yeah, it might give you a large charge.
Yeah, I'm a radar tech. I've been zapped a few times, but no, thank you. I even went to physical therapy one time, and they wanted to do some electrozappy therapy, and I'm like, I really don't like that. That feels too much like something that I've had before. Yeah. Okay, guys. Now I got some numbers. 170 back, and probably need to go about three or 4 foot up from the outside, because I want to keep it out of the snow. Actually, maybe 4 foot up, because I want to give it enough room that I can do a drip loop and back out of the snow, and maybe even a box with some suppressors in it. And if you guys think I'm over engineering this, you're probably right.
Nope, it don't sound like it to me. It sounds like a good way to go.
Yeah, well, I have a few polyphasers around here if I can find them, and I'll buy more if I need them. I also have a few of the old basic ARC cartridge jobbies. And I have no problem putting the ground rod in. I would have to I would probably run a ground wire through a different hole in the wall to get to the plumbing, just to ground it to the plumbing.
Well, what I did was I ran a solid number 8 through the wall,
Mm-hmm.
right beside the PVC, not in the PVC.
Yeah, I was considering that too, but
And
I'm
I
just
put the
thinking,
ground rod right outside the hole.
yep, there is that idea too. And now, did you bury your ground rod, or did you leave it above ground?
No, I drove it in the ground.
Did you bury the top of it?
No, it's sticking up, but it's right next to the house, so nobody's gonna hit it.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I
sticks up about 4 inches.
did a new service entrance for my house in Cleveland, Ohio, and not Oklahoma. And we got it all done, and the guy says, you need to you're supposed to bury your ground clamp, and the ground clamp you've got is not a buriable ground clamp. So
Yeah,
that wasn't a very big deal. I mean, it was like went out and bought another $5 ground clamp that was buriable, whacked it down below the ground, called the guy the next day, and he said, yeah, but go ahead.
I'm gonna live out in the country. I don't have to get all that inspection garbage.
Well,
I do what I want to.
sometimes, depending on where you are, it's nice to have everything approved so that you can show that it's approved when you go to sell the house.
Hey, Ken, how deep did you drive that into the ground?
Well, it's an 8-foot ground rod and I hit sand rock at 6 foot, so I cut it off right there.
Okay.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Well, there's
I
two
mean,
of them.
if you really wanted to get anal, you could take an 8 foot and drive it in at 45 degrees or 30 degrees or something. But did you did you use a regular post pounder or what'd you use?
There's two of them about 18 inches apart.
Oh,
What was your question? What did I get it, put it in the ground with?
what tool did you use to drive it in?
Sledgehammer.
Oh,
Well, there you go.
shoot. Now I usually use a post pounder to get them most of the way in. The old T post pounder.
Yeah.
Yeah. You use T post pounder. Now, you know, if you have access to the right tools, they make a that you can put that sucker right down in. Might even go into that sandstone.
Well,
But you know what? If it goes into that sandstone, it's not going to make any better ground.
no.
I actually briefly looked at moving to Austin, Texas.
Oh,
Apparently the hard pan in Austin, Texas is about this far below the ground.
Austin,
Like,
Texas?
it's like, yeah, you can have a garden, but forget it, unless you're going to drill it, forget trying to, yeah.
Not much topsoil, in other words.
No, not a lot of, the hard pan's close to the surface, and we thought it was bad in Oklahoma.
What would take you to Austin?
Two things. Good job. Well, actually, three things. Good job, hopefully.
Right.
Money, pay raise, and Formula One.
They have Formula One in Austin?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is where the American Formula One is run.
Is that right? I had no.
Oh yeah, that's in Austin, dude.
How did I not know that? Wow.
Yeah. Are you a F1 guy?
I like it. I don't know much about it, but I really like it.
Well, yeah. Okay, let's F1. Well, you just remember, I'm in Indianapolis. Okay.
You're what?
I'm in Indianapolis.
Oh, but yeah. Yeah.
So we have races here too.
I've heard that.
And we are friendly. We like having guests. Now, obviously, for the 500, forget it. House is full. But
Wow. You know what? I'm going to have to look into one of those races down there in Austin. Then that's.
We're still thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right now, we're trying to watch our money, and I'm trying to think about maybe retiring here in a few years. But oh yeah.
Boy, that traffic. Oh man, that traffic.
Yeah.
I just drove through it coming down here today, and I was like, gosh, I'm glad I don't live here.
Yeah. You drove through Fort Worth. You went through
Yeah.
Fort Worth.
Oh, Fort
Yeah, I
Worth
did.
traffic.
Went through
Yeah.
Fort Worth.
Yeah.
No, Austin's worse. I'll take the Fort Worth traffic any day.
Oh
of the week.
yeah. Austin.
Really?
Oh yeah. Austin's some of the worst traffic. I mean, Austin's even worse than Houston.
I can't
Don't have
imagine
enough
that.
roadage or what?
Yeah, they just don't have enough roads. It's just
Oh,
bumper to
okay.
bumper.
I can't
I
imagine.
was gonna say, because Dallas, Fort Worth, it gets slow, but yeah, maybe, but it moves.
I
It might
just
move at
can't imagine-
25, but it moves.
Can't imagine it being worse than Houston.
Yeah, it just, Houston moves, but it seems like Austin, it gets so packed, it just stops. Just stops.
We used to go pull through. Well, I've been through Houston and Austin, both pulling the fifth wheel, and
Yeah.
it's always been worse going through Houston.
Now I'll tell you this, the Houston drivers, they're just crazy. They are just crazy down there.
I know it. Dallas is just as bad though.
Yeah.
Crazy drivers. They drive fast too. We used to
Drive
go to we used to go to South Texas in the wintertime between Christmas and New Year's. And this is while my wife and I were both still working. We both worked at Seagate. So we had a lot of vacation time, and we could put holiday and vacation time together. And we'd go south for 3 weeks between Christmas and New Year's every year. And I got 6 weeks a year paid vacation, plus 10 days sick time, personal time off, and all that garbage. I mean, I was getting a lot of time off there, but I didn't take very much of it. But we always did try to go south between Christmas and New Year's. Really enjoyed that.
Where'd you go down there?
Oh, we went all over the place. We went South Padre Island a lot of times. We went. We went to around the coastal bend from Corpus, a place called Fulton. It's close to the Aransas Wildlife Refuge. We used to go there and do deer photography in the wintertime. And there was some big deer, and it was a rutting season about that time of the year. The rutting season's later down there than it is in Oklahoma. And that was really a fun place to go. Of course, we've been all the way to Brownsville, and we went to the Wildlife Refuge. It's right on the Mexican border. Can't remember the name of it, but it was a really neat wildlife refuge to go to. We used to go there quite a bit. It's funny though, after you go down there, and man, I was down there one time and I was filling up the truck with gas, and man, it must have been about 60 or 65 degrees. And this woman said, "Man, I can't hardly stand this cold weather." They're just not used to cold weather down there.
Wow. Yeah, we lived in Mission, Texas.
Oh yeah.
Long.
Yeah, I had a friend live there.
Yeah, this was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was I think I was 11. Dad was a chaplain.
Yeah.
For a retirement home down there, or retirement, not a home, but a community. And they had 14,000 acres of orange groves.
Yeah.
And we had cattle, goats, chickens, turkeys, but you know, Dad would warn me. He said, well, after dark, he says, you don't go out in the orange groves after dark, because you know that they'd find, you know, just the illegals would come across and they'd start messing with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, we found bodies out there often.
Yeah. And that was a long time ago. Think how bad it is now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I had a friend of mine and his wife lived in Kansas. They were both school teachers. He was a principal and she was a school teacher at some little school there in Kansas. And whenever they retired, they sold their place there and they moved to Mission, Texas. I couldn't imagine them doing that, but it was one of them gated areas.
Yeah.
So I guess it was pretty safe. But recently they've moved back to Kansas. So.
Well, I haven't been down there since I was a kid, but my understanding is it's all built up and you know, a lot of industry down there now.
Yeah.
When I was there, it was like a 2 stoplight city. I mean, it was like nothing out there.
Well, it's full of snowbirds and everything now. Of course, there was a lot.
What I missed, where are we talking about?
Let's talk about Mission, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When we used to go and down there in the wintertime, we'd stay in some of these RV parks that a lot of them had RV parking in the middle, but on the outside edges was mobile homes where snowbirds owned them, and they would just drive down there. They didn't have to take anything, you know, it was all furnished and everything. So it was a lot easier to do that than it was to pull a camper.
Yeah, my grandfather, we're originally from Lansing, Michigan,
Mhm.
and he would snowbird down to Bradenton, Florida.
Yeah.
And he did the same thing. And then he
Mhm.
finally just left Michigan permanently and moved into his home down there in
Yeah.
Bradenton.
Yeah.
But yeah, he finally passed. He was 99 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
He,
Amen, brother.
he,
Yeah.
he was a crusty old guy. We went down there for his 90th birthday, and I sent him a letter, and we weren't close, but I really admired the man. And I sent him this letter, and I told him how much I admired him, and and just all this stuff, and told him I loved him. And so we get down there for his birthday, and he never acknowledged that letter until we went down there. And he looks over at me, he goes, "Got your letter." I said, "Yeah, Grandpa, you got it?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's kind of mushy, wasn't it?" Yeah, he took us out and we played golf. And I'm not a golfer. And we were on the putting green, and I putted and I missed the cup. And he got mad. I mean, he got just crazy angry. He goes, "You know why you missed that putt, don't you?" I said, "No, sir." I said, I don't." He says, "Because you putted out of turn."
Had you?
Huh?
Had you put it out of turn?
Oh yeah, I did. I didn't know the rules. I saw the ball and went and knocked it.
Yeah. We used to stay at Rockport, Texas too. You know where that is?
Yeah,
It's around the coastal bend from Corpus.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would go to the guy that my dad worked for. He was an evangelist, and he had a girls' home in Corpus. He had the retirement home in Mission. He had a rehab center for alcoholics and drug abusers in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Wow.
And so, yeah, we would go to Corpus every now and then. And
Sounds like the religious gig is a good gig.
Well, he wasn't one of those big money type people.
Well, look. Like I'm a former Baptist. I'm just, you don't have to explain nothing.
Yeah. Well, you might have heard of him. He was Baptist. It was Lester Roloff back in the day. He was an evangelist back.
I do believe I remember that name.
Yeah. Yeah, he would travel.
Yeah, and probably when I was about this tall, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was not Southern Baptist. I was Northern Baptist.
Okay. I don't know anything about Northern. We were Independent Baptist, which Southern Baptist.
Probably, yeah. If he were Independent Baptist, we probably would have, because there was, that's right. There was NABC, Independent Baptist, and Southern Baptist. Probably a couple other thingy what's-its, but yeah.
Dad always said this. Dad always said the Southern Baptists were liberals.
Well, that's probably that may have been true at one time. Norman, Oklahoma is the first place that I ever saw two Baptist churches next to each other.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. When I was in the Air Force, I was stationed at.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to think what street. Not. I want to say Porter, but I think it was plus or minus Porter, one or the other.
Ken, you were saying about when you were in the Air Force?
Whenever I was in the Air Force.
Yes, Ken.
I was stationed at Pope Air Force Base. That's at Fayetteville, North Carolina. I was an airborne radio operator. We were doing training there, but this kid that I was stationed with, he's trying to get me to go to church with him, and he said that he was a Second Baptist, and I told him that I was the First Baptist, and he thought I was snubbing him because mine was First Baptist and his was Second Baptist.
That was just maybe your church, right?
Yeah.
And in a lot of places, Second Baptist Church was just the Second Baptist Church that was in that town.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Or for whatever reason, yeah, it's, oh my goodness.
I got to meet a lot of those 82nd Airborne guys whenever I was training there. I was
Oh, yes.
a radio operator on a C-119 and C-123, and we used to take those guys up and they'd jump out. And back then, those guys would, that's bragging because they was getting $55 a month extra pay to be a paratrooper. And I'm thinking, man, I knew a lot of them that got their legs broke and their collarbones
Sure.
broke and their teeth knocked out. But they was bragging because they was getting $55 a month more than I was.
What year was that, Ken-ish?
Huh?
What year-ish was that, did you say?
It was in 1958 or 50.
Oh, okay, so
1958.
$55 was a good chunk of money.
Yeah, $55 was a lot of money then.
But you know what? Did they ever make you jump out of an airplane?
Well, yeah, I had to for training to be an airborne radio operator, but
Well, yeah, I mean, but just you didn't have to do it regularly.
no. Didn't want to.
But yeah, actually, it's probably a good thing that they did tell you how to do it.
Yeah. Well, I went and visited some of those guys in Fort Bragg Army Hospital, some of them that I got to know. And I mean, there was this one guy that when he landed, his knees come up and hit him chin and broke both of his jawbones. So they had his teeth wired together and they took a couple of teeth out so he could get a straw in there to suck soup in. And that guy lived on soup for about a month and he lost a bunch of weight.
I hope it was some damn good soup. Yeah, I know. And knowing the military, it probably wasn't. It was probably all salty and God knows, probably has, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah,
this one guy, me and him are pretty good friends. And he broke his leg on a nighttime jump. And I went up there to see him, and this back whenever they had plaster cast, not like the cast they have nowadays. So he was in a wheelchair in a plaster cast, and went up there another week or so later, and he was still in the wheelchair, and top half of the plaster cast was cut off, lengthways, and it had a ace bandage wrapped around it. And what had happened, he got gangrene in there, and they didn't know it for a while because it's in this plaster cast, but he was in so much pain, they opened it up, and there his leg had gangrene in it. So he undone that ace bandage so I could see it, and the calf of his leg must have been 8 inches long, was completely black, and you could see the bone.
Wow. Were they able to fix him up?
What they did is he had to go, I don't know, about 4 times a day, and they left it open. They didn't close it up. He had to go about 4 times a day and put his leg in this big tank that had surgical soap circulating around. And
big goddamn fucking chlorine bleach, dude.
No, it's
no. I'm kidding, but yeah, that would be me. I'm like, if I want to kill this, I want bleach.
Well, they'd already gotten rid of the gangrene. They cut it all out, but he was doing this to make sure they didn't have any. But they kept it open.
But they knew about the gangrene. They thought they got it all.
Yeah. But they leave it open so it can grow back from the inside.
Yeah. And that could take years.
Yeah, and this kid was about, maybe he was 20 years old or something like that.
Wow.
But you can bet he still limps on that leg today.
Golly.
And that's the kind of crap that I seen all the time from them guys. Every time we'd have a night jump, there would be several of them with broken legs and collarbones and stuff.
Yeah,
that's just training.
I always thought it would be fun to do some parachute jumping, but
My daughter was a parachute. She did it. She jumped out of Goldsby down there. You know where Goldsby
Oh,
is?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
she used to jump there. I went down there a few times and took pictures. I went up in the plane and would take pictures when they jumped out. And there's several times that we would land, be on the ground before the parachuters would ever get to the ground. I'd
Yeah.
take a picture of her jumping out and get to the ground and take another picture of her landing. But that pilot, that door is open all the time on the side of that thing. And right after the last jumper jumps out, that guy, he just goes down to the ground like that. I thought I was going to fall out that open door. Of course, I was trapped in, but he turned where I'm looking straight down at the ground. That was the first time.
Did you have a parachute on too, just in case?
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
Had to. But,
Wow.
that's Sarita. She's the one that lived there on Highway 9, where I told you
Yeah.
about, had the 28.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I always wanted to jump, but I don't know. I don't think that's in my repertoire to happen at this
No.
point.
Well, the closest thing I've got to jumping is flying gliders.
yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
fun. I think that'd be fun.
It's awesome.
You're doing what?
Flying gliders. Well, I'm not doing it
Oh.
now, but I was doing it.
Oh, no, I'd have to pass on that.
Flying
that's
flying
another-
gliders. Yeah, you would be surprised at how safe you actually feel, because
Really?
you can land somewhere.
Yeah, that's
Right. You can glide a long way.
And most, the gliders, aka sailplanes, they have big lift to drag ratios.
Yeah,
If you really had to land out in the middle of, you wouldn't want to land in a forest. So you
Right.
you want to plan where you're going to go if crap happens, but
I misunderstood.
and
you.
I've
I thought you were
never,
talking about.
and honestly, I never had that happen. I always landed at the same airfield.
I misunderstood what you were saying. I thought you were talking about one of those gliders with the prop on the back and you sit in the little seat.
oh yeah.
And
Well,
No,
that's cool.
I'm talking about a proper sailplane. You get pulled up by
that
a
I would-
power plane,
Yeah,
or
not like a hand glider.
no,
Correct.
no,
correct.
I'm talking about a proper airplane.
Yeah,
It just doesn't have an engine.
they got a lot of wingspan.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lots of wingspan.
Yeah.
That I
And
would do.
and I'll tell you what, I really wish I hadn't cut myself off from it. I had some medical issues. I really wish I hadn't cut myself off from it, because it was so much fun. And there were a couple of scary bits. There were a couple of times I got the other side of the airport and the wind was blowing against me. I don't know what I was going to do. And believe it or not, what you got to do is you got to put your nose down
Oh yeah.
and go faster into the wind and land that sucker just like you would normally. So that's my rant for the evening. Thank you.
We was on Sandia Mountain there in Albuquerque. These guys was doing hang gliding off of that thing. They would
Oh my.
walk up to the edge of this cliff that was about 2,000 feet down and jumping off of that thing. Oh, I couldn't see that.
Nope. I have to pass. I used to
Now, see, for me, I hope he's figured out where the hell he's going to land.
Yeah. I used to rappel a lot. That was fun. But
Yeah. My daughter Srita did that down at down by Fort Hill.
yeah, Wichita Mountains down in
Wichita
there.
Wildlife Refuge. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I first learned to rappel was right before I went to boot camp over there off of South Portland, where the fire training center is for the fire department.
Yes, uh-huh.
They've got that 6-story building out there, that
Yeah,
concrete building.
That's by OSU Tech.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And we were out there with the Marines, and the first time I rappelled, you're up there on top of that building, you have to lean out.
Yeah,
And that first time you lean out and all that cement's down there,
yeah.
yeah,
Kind of scary,
kinda
isn't it?
it was.
Kind of scary. That's
Yeah.
that's a long ways down to land on cement.
What the hell
Yeah.
am I doing here? Oh yes, the first time I ever climbed a tower taller than about 35, 40 feet, despite being trained to do so, they only trained us to like 35, 40 feet. Yeah, it was interesting. Let's just say that. I had to cope with some fears. But we got the job done.
It's surprising how much those things sway back and forth, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
100 feet up at the Coast Guard Tower in Toledo. Yes, indeed.
Wow.
And there was no noticeable wind even.
Yeah. Wow.
I know that that Channel 5 tower there north of Oklahoma City was 1,500 feet. That thing had a 15-foot sway to it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
That'd be pretty scary to be up there looking down and it going 15 feet one direction. That'd scare the crap out of you.
We're all too old to worry about that crap anyway.
Yeah.
That's young boy stuff.
Have you seen those videos of the guys that crawl up those towers and replace the light bulbs on the top of them?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
What is it? The last 10 feet they free climb those things?
Yeah.
Something like that.
That Channel 5 tower had an elevator up about 600 feet.
Yeah.
After that, you had to climb
Yeah.
to replace them bulbs. And that thing swaying. I guess they probably didn't do it on a windy day, but where do you find a non-windy day in Oklahoma?
That's the truth.
Oh, there's 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
3 or 4 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there actually are more than you think, but yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty low wind here lately. So can't complain.
Live there 6 years. I know how windy it is.
Oh, I was going to say, Don, we still haven't had 100-degree day here yet. Today was
Have we
about
not?
our hottest day, and it was
Look,
97.
don't say that. You're tempting fate. Yeah, remember that year I was there, I had got there, it had already been over 104 and sometimes 105 for like 6 days. And holy crap. I'm guessing that was somewhere. Okay, that's probably somewhere around 8 years ago.
And our 9-day report here puts us after August 1st, and there's still not going to be a 100-degree day in the month of July here. That's pretty good for Oklahoma.
I'll tell you what, it's been a relatively cool, a relatively cool spring and summer so far.
Well, we would be glad that you not get all roasted.
Well, we'll probably pay for it in August.
Yeah, probably will.
It's gonna be August. It's pretty much August. Almost. Yeah. And yeah, I think when I was down there and it was 104, It was August, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, fellas, I'm gonna call it a night, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think me three.
Well, good
All
talking
right.
to you guys tonight.
You too,
Hopefully-
Ken.
Well, talking to the same guys, at least not about the same stuff. But I
Yeah.
like talking to you guys.
We covered a lot of territory tonight, didn't we?
But we did. I like the photography, and I like busting out the gear, and maybe I'll actually shoot some film.
Yeah.
But,
So did you guys take classes for photography, or did you just get out and do it?
I took several classes for photography.
Yeah.
I took some like kind of, well, wouldn't be online when I was a kid, but I took a lot of book stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about in the, late 70s, mid 80s.
I went to,
Yeah.
I took classes at that OCCC out there.
You through with
You know,
me?
where OCCC
Okay.
is.
We're gonna go eat?
Yeah, yeah.
May Avenue and 74. I took photography classes there. But
Wait a
none of
second.
Yeah.
none of that had to do with wildlife photography. I took some product photography where you take product shots, tabletop stuff,
Uh-huh.
and that was really fun.
Yeah.
But I love the wildlife photography because it got us outdoors. And we used to travel a lot, so it gave us something to do.
You want to go eat?
When we got to these national
Yeah, I'm
parks,
kind of hungry myself.
wildlife photography.
I mean, if you need to go home, I mean, don't worry about it. I'll fix something when I go home.
Well, you look hungry.
I'd have to,
I'm retired. I live by
I'm
myself.
already home. I'll
I'll lay down there because I never
now
know how to
they
get there.
say that I maybe have to go make
We went through that a couple of weeks ago.
I know. I just need to still follow you down there. I can leave from there and actually. All right, guys, we're gonna wind it down.
All right. See you guys
All
later.
right. See you.
All
Hey, you
right.
guys
Have
have-
a great, fantastic night, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys later. Good night.
Yeah.